Welcome to Kim and Angela Talk. Kim is a biodynamic craniosacral therapist, Reiki master, PSYCH-K facilitator, curious human, forever student, and a loving mom. Angela is a Reiki master, PSYCH-K facilitator, emotion code and body code practitioner, metaphysical nerd, compulsive learner, and childless cat lady. Come along for the ride as they explore the mysteries of the universe in their own lives, all while enjoying a good laugh together.
Hi, I'm Angela.
And I'm Kim.
And together we're Kim and Angela Talk. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Angela.
How's it going?
Audience. Good, Harry.
Now we're back to this. Hi, audience.
Hi, audience. Yeah, you got to go with the hi, audience. And I just want to say I'm excited because today is episode 20.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. 20 whole episodes.
20 whole episodes. That's very exciting.
Yeah. 19 more than I thought we would do.
I know. When you think of it, pretty exciting. And it's more when you consider our card deck reviews too. So it's
actually, that's very true. That's very true. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Of course, this time I don't have the thing set up, so I could do the sparkle.
Oh yes, I have to do it in, what do they call it? Do it in post.
Yeah, I'll do it in post.
The guru of the magic. We'll do it later.
So we'll go happy 20th episode. Woo!
Okay. Exactly. I'm sure it will be wonderful.
There's lots of actually kind of fun transition-y things in, but not a star wipe, sadly.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just, anyway, I think I talked about that one of our earlier episodes. It's like old school in the time of video editing, like back in the 80s, and star wipe.
Oh, okay.
Also referenced in the Simpsons episode by the Lisa Simpson. So, yeah. Anyway, useless trivia that nobody cares about.
Oh, well, you just have to play with whatever the new kids are playing with.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on today?
Well, I'm excited about the theme. I think. I don't know if we're more organized or less organized than we were last time, the way it worked out. But the theme is definitely of interest, I'm going to say.
It is of interest and very, very pertinent, I believe.
Yeah, it feels like it's jiving with the universe, I think.
Well, definitely with us, and also actually right before this, when we started recording, I got an email from my dad that is also pertinent. He's bemoaning some stuff that's going on, and
interesting.
I'll talk to him later. So, hi, Dad. He watches things. Hi, Dad. I love you. I got your email. I'll talk to you soon. Good luck.
Oh, goodness gracious. So it's definitely a theme that's pertinent all around.
It is. There's a lot of outer planet stuff going on. I really should have looked at it a little bit more, but Saturn is in specific alignments with Neptune. Well, there's a Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and they're also in alignments with Uranus and Pluto and all the outer planets and stuff. And it's a pretty big deal, actually. And it's creating a lot of, I don't know how to say, a lot of interesting experiences for people. Or I shouldn't say creating, it's influencing. There's a lot of influencing going on.
Right.
Because the thing is,
feelings and strong emotions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. But also with Neptune and Saturn, it's interesting because Saturn's more worldly and Neptune is more otherworldly, but they're in conjunction too. Okay. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm not an astrologer.
That'll bring us to a thing later. I love a yin and yang balance. No.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm not an astrologer, but I do follow Mystic Medusa, and she has a really great take on it. So mysticmedusa.com. I'll put that down there if you want to learn more. And she has a Saturn-Neptune report. That's really good. One of the cool things about astrology, this is so off topic from our theme, but one of the cool things about astrology is, everything is energy, and the planets have their own energy, the stars and everything. And so it's really about the influence of energy. It's not to say, because of, on Sunday you're going to meet a tall, dark stranger kind of stuff. It's more about there are potentialities that are open for people. So it's pretty interesting, and it's been an interesting time in our
there's been lots going on, especially the outer planets and stuff. Lots of alignments that haven't happened in a very long time, and they're kind of
very rare things happening. So we'll see. We'll just have to see how it all plays out.
Mm-hmm. One day at a time. One day at a time. Yeah.
So what are we talking about today, Kim?
So I will describe the theme that came up today. It's transitions, transitioning from pain to joy.
Yeah.
Is kind of the main theme. And I don't know if we want to start off with, I guess, my message first, and then we'll go to yours, and then we'll do the audience, or is that, I don't know.
I honestly don't know how any of this is going to play out.
No. Well, we're just going to see. We're just going to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I will say, though, that this message is or the theme is so pertinent for lately as well. Because unless I just said that, I might have just said that. I don't know. But and it's also really pertinent to our work, because a lot of what we do is transmute the energy of pain and suffering so that you can experience joy.
Right.
That's just a plug for our work.
Yeah.
Schedule.
Well, I mean, that's what, just on a personal note, a little personal note of share. Yesterday, you and I worked together on me because I wasn't having a great day. And I was like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, want to work on some things? I'm like, I think I need to, because I was just in a mood not a happy mood. I was in a very aggressive mood, and I don't like when I know. And I just couldn't shake it. We had kind of texted the day before, and it was still clinging big time yesterday. And I was like, to function through the day, I'd like to just kind of maybe see if we could tease it apart and do some things. And so then you worked your lovely magic of your body code and your emotion code and your belief code all into one lovely package for me, and all kinds of crazy stuff came out, amazing things, and got released, and yay. And I'm going to say definitely having a much better day today. Felt much better afterwards, a little bit tired, but today definitely woke up with kind of an excitement to kind of get going with things. So even though we don't really quite know what we're doing, that was definitely a plus for me. And then I also found out through the work that I had a few things that were inherited from my dad, and that was then released not only for me, but for him. And then I just was talking to my mom today, and she was saying how my dad's mood had changed yesterday afternoon, and it would have been when we were doing the work. So that was pretty exciting. So it's not only just for myself, but it's also for kids, for my mom and dad, any relatives going backwards. So it's so exciting. I'm so excited about the work. So anyway, it's a little aside there, but that is what we do. And so yesterday, joy would be the furthest thing that I would use to describe my mood. And today I'm going to say we're on the opposite side of that. So, which is very cool.
Thank you. Suffering into joy and happiness.
And some of my dad's too. And therefore, obviously by extension, my mom's as well for my dad's bad moods. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. Right. So thank you so much for that. And
Well, on a similar note, my pleasure. And on a similar note, I did a body code session for myself about my sleep patterns not being very good. It's not full, it's kind of insomnia-like or whatever. But what was interesting was before I did that, I had been feeling pretty sad, melancholy for a little while. And then I knew that, something was going on, wasn't really sure what was up. And then I did the body code session for myself for the sleep. And I did sleep better last night because I did it actually yesterday before I did the one with you.
We had a busy day yesterday. We had a busy day.
Very busy day of transmuting shit yesterday. And this morning, it took there was definitely processing yesterday, but this morning and today I've just been feeling a lot lighter, and I haven't had that melancholy hanging over me. So that was really awesome. So it really does work.
Yeah.
Folks.
It does.
Schedule links below.
Give us a call. Yeah.
And I'll say, and emotion code, body code, belief code, all those are great for this, but also the other things that we do, BCST, Reiki, now IET, because in the sessions that I've done recently that were like Reiki or IET focused, I heard back from the people I worked with later, and they're like, oh yeah, I feel so much better. You're like, I've like that stress that I was feeling is just gone, you know. So it's really powerful. It's powerful work. And the great thing is, like, yeah, you actually can transmute your pain and suffering. You can release this energy so that you can experience joy. You can be in a place of joy and peace. And it doesn't mean that you're not ever going to feel sad or melancholy again, or have something come up, but that's just a clue for that you need to do a little bit more work, or something else is coming up.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that's the great thing, right? When you do have those moments of I don't feel great and I'm feeling sad or feeling mad, and I can't even pinpoint what it is. It's not even one particular thing, but you're just in a zone. And then you do an inquiry, even if it's a PSYCH-K message about it,
Yes.
to send you on oh, okay, maybe, and then go down further down the path to see if there's anything that needs to be released related to what. Sometimes just acknowledgement of what the message was that's kind of bringing it to conscious light. Sometimes that's enough to just kick it and go, oh, yeah, okay, right,
Yeah.
right. So
Absolutely.
it can be very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
absolutely.
Love
And
it.
PSYCH-K has got another great procedure besides messages, like the transformation of the perception of stress. That's important, especially for past events,
Yes.
where you can literally transform your perception of how that event was, or the, like, basically it's I guess making it so that you don't have the same emotional reaction, and like you're transforming any traumatic stress and releasing that, so that, yeah, that's no longer having an impact on you. It's awesome. Cool stuff. Not for this whole thing to be a commercial about
I
our,
know, but I mean, we get excited about the work because we do the walk, right? We don't just do the talk, we do the walk, and we use it ourselves, either doing it for ourselves or for each other, for sharing, depending, because some things are either too complicated or maybe you don't even want to look at it. So sometimes you kind of need somebody else there with you to guide you along, and it helps to have the support. So that's when working together works. So yeah,
absolutely. It's so great to work with somebody else. It's good to work on with yourself, but like to be able to work with somebody else on this, because the holding space is so important.
Exactly. Agreed. It really makes the trauma, if there is any that comes up or things, much easier having somebody there by your side. Yeah, right. Definitely. Yeah. Well, okay, that all being said, of our joy of how we transformed our pain yesterday, what the cards are telling us today. Well, my message today was actually a message you got last week, so it's definitely something that's coming to light for the both of us. Now, there were two things. The message came up to do with centering again, and it's interesting because it's the message was gravity at the center, and it was talking about the earth is half of what it is on the surface. But then if you take life's gravity, or the gravity of a situation, it's less when you're more centered, I think, is kind of more the gist of it for us as a message. And I mean, it's true. We talked about this, I think, on the last one and probably the one before that. It's like so important to be grounded, do your work, go outside, watch positive things, and just ground in your center. And then things don't seem quite as bad as when you're all up in your head and everything's spinning out of control. And it could be as easy as maybe journaling or meditating, if that's your thing, or dancing. Just put on a fun song and dance around the living room.
Yeah.
That'll help you just kind of bring it down.
Yeah, because that's really getting you in your body. It was the way of
shaking. Yep. And shaking it out.
Shaking
it out. We did that when we were learning all our stuff, right? A lot of physical shaking it out, and it really does help.
It does.
Definitely. The other part of the message related to that was the yin and yang, because I got I didn't even share didn't even share the card that came up. I'm so sorry. You're just blah, 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 blah. So the first card, which was the gravity one, came from this deck the one that's always talking to me, the Elemental Oracle deck. And this was the card, which was the Inner Core, which is kind of cool because looking at the card, I didn't realize when I first looked upon it that those were hands that kind of made up the circle, which I thought was really cool.
And then I also love it too because it's like centered, and in the center too is that dove.
Yeah, so you've got peace.
Peace, and birds are also very connected to the angelic realm. Like whenever I get feathers, I'm like, oh, okay, here's one of them.
Yeah, it gives you a nice warm tingly feeling when it's just something you come across, especially if you've got deep thoughts and you're kind of like whatever, and then it just shows up and it's like, it's good, very good. So then not clarification, but an additional component to the message that came up was from this deck, which was the Fairy Tarot deck. Tarot seems to be a particular thing today, and it was this card, which looks a little bit different, but it is a tarot card. But so it's the the Hangman. So the message is awakening, and changes the way we're looking at a situation, and embrace your uniqueness, a temporary pause in the action. So the particular message with that card was things behind a standstill. So maybe something in your life is like not progressing along or changing the way we think it should. But, there's stuff going on behind the scenes, as always. And also, there's a symbol of the yin and the yang at his feet. So coming to a balance, right? So an emotional balance, again, the grounding balance, even the pain and the joy, right?
Yeah.
Even that is a balancing act too, right?
Yeah, because the thing does serve a purpose. For when it brings your attention to something, like you said earlier,
right? That
there's something that you need to work on, and then also it highlights, okay, when you are able to transmute or release this pain, it's like, oh, okay, this is the peace, like having that peace that you're feeling. So, I mean, if you're always in a sense of peace and whatever, that will, then you're, probably already enlightened and some yogi on a mountain or whatever. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But you have that sort of, the experiences of learning and releasing and being able to witness what's going on in yourself and those things around you.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No interruption there. Yeah, and I mean, I think the whole, like you said, the pain part is all about transmuting it, incorporating it, integrating it, as we like to say, and therefore you're able to hold it too, because it's now a part of you, and so you can hold it for others.
Yes.
So that you won't, it's a thing we have a hard time when somebody else is in pain or in discomfort, and all we want to do is kind of like make it go away for them or change the subject so they won't think about it or whatever. But sometimes it's really important to just be with the person with where they're at. And so being able to do our own work, and personally for our family interactions and professionally to deal with clients, that's really a key thing, to continuously do our work for things that come up that, give us signs that, okay, there's something else still there that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And therefore you're able to hold more of whatever that is for a client coming in, which you tend to get people coming to you that are somewhat in the same resonance with kind of what's going on with you too. I find that very interesting when you kind of see clusters, and I've heard this from other people as well, that you'll get clusters of people coming in with very similar, even if it isn't directly related to you, but similar things in their lives, you'll tend to get it, which is also another good clue for you if you keep seeing different things.
I should look at this.
Maybe. Why is that coming up? Yeah, a little question mark there.
Yeah, and also based on what you're saying, so like this is the card that the theme came from, and it says tears down below. I'm sorry about the glare. It's actually really pretty. Oh, there we go.
It's so pretty. Yeah, that's perfect.
And she's got two conch shells and the water is coming out of the conch shells. And it symbolizes the fact that when you share your tears or you share your woes and your grievances with a friend or someone, then it's half. You help, like, that friend or the person that you're sharing with, the professional, is helping you to carry that burden in a way by holding space, right? This is the deck, by the way, the Water Alchemy Oracle. And then one of the things in the description for this, which was really cool, is that crying, and this is why when someone's in the office and they start to cry, I don't hand them tissues. If they ask for tissues, yes, I have them. I don't hand them to them because I want them to cry. Because the cool thing, which I did not know, but was in the thing for this card, was that when you cry, one of the emotional tears that you have release stress hormones like cortisol. And I did not know that. And I think that is super cool, which is great because I cry a lot. But it's also to say, it's okay to cry. It's one of the trapped emotions in the emotion code is crying because from when you've stuffed it down.
Right.
And that's not healthy. Because you're not able to release the stress, you're not able to release the grief, because that's what crying's about.
Yeah.
So if crying comes up a lot in a session, like a code session, then that is grief that you weren't able to express at that time. But it's also a clue to go ahead and have the tears, because once you do cry, you feel better.
Exactly. Yeah, you do tend to feel extremely relaxed.
Yes.
After, then it's kind of time for a nap.
Yes. Usually.
So it's definitely a good thing. Yeah, I know. Sometimes, we've been silly, the family over here too, because sometimes, things are going on and you just feel like you need a good cry.
Yeah.
Almost. And, you put on a sad movie. You have your go-tos and you put it on and you have a good
Fireflies.
cry. Yeah. So,
rip your heart out.
Yeah. There's a few good ones out there that'll get you every time.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then you just have a good cry. And then, like you said, you have a chemical release of all the stuff that needs to kind of come out. And it's, it is a good thing. But in society, we tend to kind of we don't want you crying. And,
and especially men. Or the poor men, who stuff it down because the whole boys don't cry thing.
Yeah.
So ridiculous, you can cry. Men have emotions too.
Yeah, exactly.
And, there would probably be a lot less issues in the world if men were a little bit more in touch with their emotions because they have, and then there are cultures where it's not an issue, women are allowed to be in touch with their emotions and are allowed to cry. Not so much in this culture where we're at, this sort of Western macho individualistic, but whatever.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's hard.
It is hard. It kind of makes you a little sad for them. Poor guys.
Yeah, well, totally. Yeah, to be not in touch and then also not to have the availability to release the icky chemicals, that it does give you the chance to do. So then you end up carrying it and being more stressed and
That's why I always love it when I have a man come in for a session because it's like, oh, look at you getting in touch with your shit.
Exactly. Yes. Celebrate for sure. For sure. Yeah. No.
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah. Well, hopefully more and more that will, again, the balance.
It will. It's interesting too, because then it's, a lot of the workshops we go to are lots of women. Maybe there's one or two guys, I think maybe the last health and well-being one I went to, there might have been 3 men at that one.
Nice.
But, I was like, it's unusual. But then there are so many, a lot of the men are people who are more in the higher level and out there doing things what's that guy's name? Chicken Soup or the Soul guy and Joe Dispenza, the guy who developed the motion code, body code, belief code stuff, Dr. Brad Nelson. it's kind of interesting. Oh, Eckhart Tolle, like here's these men who have done this work. And I just have to think they must have come in as like more in higher level souls in the first place.
Right. Right.
Like especially what's that dude, David Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you read about him. So like, it's not like, it's just women doing this work. There are men.
It's just kind of more like the leaders or the top.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's kind of curious, and I feel like they must just have way more balanced energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well,
we're
hopefully as we all evolve, right, as a collective, hopefully that will just balance out for everyone.
Yeah, as we evolve as a species, and our vibrational energy stuff rises, and all this transcendent stuff, all the stuff that they talk about is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
As that goes on, I feel like there's going to be a lot more balance in the world. Hopefully we survive that long.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, we will. We have to. We've come this far. We should. Knock on wood. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So bringing us along maybe to your message next.
To my message?
I think that's your message?
Get a message? I'm just
your
kidding.
Message relative to the theme today.
Well, what's interesting, so it kind of goes a lot about, I don't know, I feel like mine's a bit more esoteric about this stuff, but also very interesting and a little pertinent to stuff that I've been. Oops, I dropped my card. Hold on. I'm back.
You're back. There you go.
So it came from this book, Archetypes, The Wild Unknown Archetypes, Kim Krantz. I like these cards because they're circles.
No, I love that.
And this is the card, the Bardo. Look, I'm the apple guy again.
Woohoo!
So
wow, that is a crazy card.
Isn't it? So the Bardo is the liminal space, the space in between lives, basically, where we go in between lives, incarnations, however you want to put that.
Okay, right.
And my message was basically in this space, you get to heal, do a lot of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And it says to sit, and my specific message was to say the unsaid, to see the unseen, to love the unloved, to let go of all the, of course I can't even read my handwriting, all the stuff that causes us pain, the cosmic network of which we are a single thread. So for me, I took that as, we are just, one part of this grand universe, and it's individually, we are like, a single thread, but altogether we're a tapestry, right? Of the universe, of God, of whatever, however you want to put it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we are in transition from this life to the next one, we get to see what we have, see our life, our past life, kind of review the experiences, probably incorporate because all of this is part of our soul journey. We get to then look at that and have these lessons and have these experiences integrated so that the next incarnation will be building upon that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this card really spoke to me because of a lot of the work I've been doing for the past, 6-9 months or so. That has been a lot of past life trauma and releasing of that. And just really crazy shit that I never would have thought of. Basically, it's one of the reasons why I give it credence, because a lot of the stuff I just had never really occurred to me. It's not anything that I would have, been like, oh, I like the things that I would have thought of, I think are actually far more mundane things that have come up for me. And I'm also seeing that in this lifetime, I'm getting to end karmic cycles and wraps things up, that I have learned a lot of lessons. But it's like the lessons, the transformation of all of the stuff is happening in this incarnation, but a lot of that work actually did probably take place in the bardo, the liminal space, right? So, and also for this, the words to say the unsaid, to see the unseen, to love the unloved, it's like really opening up your perception to beyond what is right in front of you, to be able to, I guess, kind of cast out your awareness. And it doesn't have to be in a way that's necessarily like, I mean, yeah, you can journal about stuff for sure, but being able to contemplate words like this, or these ideas of letting go those things that cause us pain, because I mean, that's really the theme, right? It's transmuting our pain and suffering into joy. So like having these things that were unsaid, unseen, unloved, but then being able to say, oh, okay, then to own that and say, okay, say those things or see those things, or love those things, because there's lots of things in my life in this incarnation I definitely have not loved. And I am getting to this point now where I can have unconditional love for them. It's like an opening up of what even the word love means. And that's part of the transformation. And the only reason I'm really able to do that is because I've been doing this work where I can transmute this energy that's really been stuck in my physical and energetic body, transmute and release this stuff so that my heart can open and I can have the love and compassion that was lacking due to whatever past traumas and stuff. But those past traumas also made it so that I'm doing this work now. Right. And then I can have these experiences, and they all come in the right time. Like recently I did the integrated energy therapy classes, and through advanced. And part of that is an attunement, much like Reiki, but this is an attunement with Archangel Ariel, and it's very much opening in the heart space. Nice. And when I was receiving these attunements, the energy that I was having in my heart was so warm and loving. And when I create my heart link to that realm, to Archangel Ariel, it comes back, and I feel more loving now than before. And because of doing that, I think I was able to release and acknowledge a lot of things since then, so that it keeps building on itself. Right. And then I'm ready for more higher energy vibrations, more work to do. And I don't know, it's just really, in a way, without all that pain and suffering of my childhood and early years, I wouldn't really be here, because if I wouldn't be doing this work, and I wouldn't have the same empathy and compassion and understanding for other people who have had similar experiences. Like, it really makes the holding of space and the fact that, just not having any judgment about that, what anybody's gone through. Because nobody asks for these horrible things. They do that consciously in this lifetime. You might, there's the idea that before you're incarnated, you're like, okay, I'll take this shit on.
This is what I'm going to do. Yeah. That's such a good idea.
Right? And then, of course, I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking?
What? I don't remember that. They misread it. Right? Yeah. Wait a second.
I was like, why did I pick her as my mom? Sorry, Mom. We love you.
Yeah.
I've gotten there. Take a while. It'll take a lot of years for me to really get to this place where I can have unconditional love for my mom. And I'm glad about that because I mean she's still with all of her flaws and all the stuff that happened, and she's still a child of the universe, a child of God, and is on her own journey. And why, if I were to have judgment about her, then I would be judging myself. Because that's the thing. Another thing they say is any judgment is self-judgment. So what I don't want to see in other people, or the things that I'm judging about in other people, is like, oh yeah, again, as we've talked about before, turning the mirror back on myself. Okay, what is this about me? So, but I mean, this took a long time to get to. Long,
yeah. Well, the thing is, we're in such a density, right? That, I'm going to say your card reminded me of kind of the fact that in the process of things, that would be at the in-between time would be when we could see the bigger picture, where we could see the whole person and their backstory and their interrelation and how they got to where they were, which then, bestowed us the experiences that we did. Because on the human level, you kind of just have the experiences and they're not pleasant or difficult or they're whatever. But we don't necessarily have the capacity to get to the point of that in between of looking at the whole thing and assessing and seeing them as like a child, and who also went through their own experiences and ended up who they were as a result of that, and so on and so forth, how trauma begets trauma. But I feel like now that we have this work that, has come down, been downloaded, however it's been given to the people that then we've learned from, is kind of almost... It's almost like merging it now. It's kind of like you don't need to wait for that in-between time to be healing a lot of things that otherwise maybe wouldn't get healed this time around, that then there might be some more karma or whatever that you then bring in with the next life, because maybe it wasn't necessarily all resolved, even though maybe you could see the whole thing. But I think that's the fascinating part now. It's like consciousness is expanding and people are integrating so many more things through all these different methods. And I just feel like the zone is kind of getting thinner between those realms of the in-between time, because we're resolving more now. I don't know. That's kind of how I take it, that now we have all these techniques and things to be able to work through things. So in this lifetime, you have found that unconditional love for your mom, which, otherwise probably wouldn't, like if you go back a generation or two who didn't have a lot of these things, there'd be like absolutely no way. It would just be like, hate them.
Resentment and
totally. And so you'd stay in that density, you'd stay in the more tears versus being able to, branch out to the higher energies of joy. So I mean, I think it's a great time because it's really, we have the tools to be able to navigate that and not have to wait.
I mean, and there's definitely a lot of people talk about this being an age of transition. We've mentioned that before. And the idea is that we as a species are evolving and will raise into consciousness, and there will be some people that go higher up, like are able to go up into this higher realm of consciousness, and some probably people won't. And I don't know what that's going to look like in the end. Who knows how long this is going to take? I have the idea some people think it's going to happen really soon. I don't know. It kind of seems to me like it would take longer.
Yeah, I mean, I from what I hear of all the different people I listen to, it's kind of like it can't really be that quick of a transition because we'd explode.
Right.
The energy would be too high and we'd all fry out. So it's kind of like gotta ebb and flow, and everybody's kind of doing steps and following steps.
Right. And we're really, I feel like at the beginnings of this. And one of the things too to keep in mind is a lot of people will say, really, have these, I don't know how to put this, but even someone like the current Cheeto colored person in the White House,
Julia.
has a purpose in this.
Mm-hmm.
He signed up for this as well. And he, even though the things that he's doing are pretty horrible and there's a lot of people suffering, there is a purpose. It is to, in my estimation, wake people the fuck up, to say this cannot continue to happen.
Yeah.
And these are very much, especially just as the age of Aquarius begins, the very difficult growing pains that we have to go through. So people will pretty much say, oh, okay, this is not acceptable. We need to treat each other with kindness and understanding. Because a lot of the people who voted for this person are suffering because of what he's doing. And then there's other people who didn't vote for this person who feel very smug and judgmental about that. And really, that's not helpful either, because what we really should be doing is like, okay, how can we make sure that everybody is taken care of, all connected, when everybody is doing well, everything gets better for everyone. It doesn't have to be these people at the top, these people at the bottom.
Exactly.
And so this, are the things happening pretty atrocious? Are people suffering? People are dying in some cases, and especially when you look globally around, Palestine and Ukraine. And it sucks, but also it's a way for us to be like, is this really what we want?
Yeah, it's so blatant in your face. It's kind of like you can't just ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we are to really evolve as a species, we need to be able to do better by our fellow human beings and recognize that we are all one, as opposed to, well, it's on the other side of the world. There's these rednecks or whatever that voted, so who cares?
Yeah.
Or on the other side, those liberals over in, the West Coast, we don't, whatever the things are.
Yeah.
All just about being divisive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does serve a purpose, because it is a thing to awaken us to hopefully develop compassion for others.
Mm-hmm.
And will we get there soon? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Well, I think that we can bring it back even to more like personal, right? And if you think of, a traumatized person, then traumatizing another person, or a traumatized parent, be it upbringing or, big trauma, little trauma, and not realizing, and then they pass that along to their kid and doing a similar thing again. So I think the work that we're doing and work that light workers everywhere are doing, if we can help to heal the trauma, or whatever's going on, to then allow just the family dynamic and friend dynamic, work dynamic to be better just locally within that one person's existence. And then, you go out, you start plunking all the different people that they're doing that, then like you did work, I did work, you're healing your own stuff. So then you're not reacting with your coworker, you're not reacting with your kid, because that's not really what the problem is. There's a problem going historically back, or even a past life, as we've said. I really think it's only in that way spreading that then, it will just spread everywhere. So everybody just kind of has to be aware, take their own responsibility for their own work. And the more work they do, the better it is, across the board for everyone. And then it will spread. And I think that's the way it's really going to be generation to generation, is that the more, my kids have less work to do because of the work I've done than what I had to do. And there's been healing backwards to the parents and grandparents as well. And so again, if instead of trauma, which is kind of how it used to always be, it's just like, oh, my dad whooped me with the belt. And then it's like, oh, my, And so, and I also don't think obviously it's good to do opposite day parenting if, let's say, it was bad, but then that comes with its own things because it's still working on a fear. I don't want to be that way. So then you don't want to say no, which, again, it's extremes of the pendulum, but we just have to go back to heal the initial thing. Then there's not the fear of, I can say no because it's not going to affect, you know what I mean? Like everything's based on all of these false beliefs or implanted beliefs that aren't even ours, to do with things. And so, so I just think you really, somebody a long time ago told me, you really have to look before you have children at yourself so that you don't continue on patterns that no longer serve and that, need to be healed, that are based on fear and pain and, whatever else has gone on, so that you do not continue that line on. And the more people that do that, and on we go, then I think it will transition to that, because you already see that the way that people are able to, and within the line of work that we do, the people that we meet, that they're doing their own stuff, even if they're not, becoming facilitators or doing it professionally, but just learning it for themselves and working on themselves, just themselves, or within the group, people that they meet and stuff, and how amazing the transformations are. I remember one gentleman I did the PSYCH-K class with, we did it online, and he was the very first one. So it wasn't even the ability really to, or maybe it was the second one. I can't remember now. Anyway, but I remember him telling the story in class, maybe it was the second one then, that working with his dad, who had fear of heights forever. And he did the PSYCH-K protocols with him, and he was going skydiving. Like crazy stories, right? So, I mean, it's just, so I cannot speak highly enough. And I have full confidence and, I don't know, love in my heart that we'll all get there. It's just going to take a little while. We just need to be patient. And the more of us that can hold space, and the more of us that take responsibility to work on ourselves or with other people who can help us to get through stuff so we don't continue on the patterns of the past, then I think we're good.
Yeah. Well, and that's true too, is like, it's not about changing the world. It's about changing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Doing your own work, because just like you said, we've said this before, goes backwards, forwards, and everyone you come into contact with, you just bring more positive energy wherever you go.
Yeah.
And it is all about, it's really all about the work and doing the opening of this work and the healing. But it's not about, changing other people. It's about changing yourself and doing your own work. Oh, and just real quick before we go into the audience message, I wanted to mention, just because this is like the Bardo, the liminal space between worlds, there's a really good book. It's a very short read called by Tina Zion or Zion. I don't really know how to pronounce her last name. And it's called like something about Interview with a Dead Man or something like that. And I think I recommended it to you. I don't know if you ever read it. I'll put the thing on the bottom, but it's about, she channels this stuff, this conversation from this guy, because like a friend of hers has this friend who'd passed, and they'd always been like, oh, if you go first, whoever goes first has to come back and report back. It's really awesome. Cool. So I'll put the right title on the bottom.
Okay.
But I would totally check it out. if you're curious about that kind of stuff. There's also Jim Jeffries, I think his name is, who does really interesting interviews. If you have any doubts about the fact that we're incarnated, or if you're more curious, I mean, and I don't need to change anybody's mind, but if you're curious about this stuff and you want to hear anecdotes, and it's not necessarily about changing your mind, it's more about broadening your mind to the possibilities. And he does interviews with children who remember their past lives. And those are pretty fascinating.
Right.
Yeah, there's this show on Netflix called Surviving Death, and one of the episodes is about that. And it's really interesting. So anyway, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
So Kim, what's our audience message?
Audience message. Okay, so our audience message is from I think this came up last time, but it's the Avian Tarot cards. And the card that came up was the King of Pentacles, which you knew right off the bat what King of Pentacles meant. I think you can see that. And the bird is Lady Amherst Pheasant. So it's a pheasant bird. Now, the messages that kind of came through were kind of a little bit all over the place, and I did test later that it was kind of like the whole thing. So King of Pentacles had to do with manifesting and wealth and accumulating wealth and so on. But it also talked about, well, the message talked about like hoarding money, that was on the negative side of it. And if they do donate, like it's not doing. So it's basically being able to organize your financial life and making good financial decisions, including making donations appropriately that won't bankrupt you, kind of thing. Like, again, it's a balance. It's that yin yang. It's kind of part of that other message that we said, like seeing things together. And then the bird part of this card had to do, the reason that it's called Lady Amherst is because there was the Governor General of India sent one of these off. It was in the 1800s. But the thing to do with the pheasant is that it likes to walk on the earth. It doesn't fly, generally speaking. But if it feels as if it's in danger, it will do a really quick, high kind of flight thing to get out of danger's way. So there was another little part to do with being aware of your character, your pros, your cons, and fully embracing all of the qualities. So given all those kind of elements, given what we were talking about earlier, I think for the audience, it's just about, I think everybody can resonate right now that things don't necessarily feel safe in the world, and money-wise, things are tight for people. I have a friend who's struggling, and you can just see that they're asking for help, but everybody else is kind of in that same position, and people are trying to help this person out. And so I think the thing is to come at it from a more grounded, like we said, more grounded perspective, keeping in with the higher energies of things and not getting caught in the fear of it, because that will beget more fear and more negative, right? And you had said something, I'm just trying to think what you said, to do with being in your comfort zone, getting out of your comfort zone. Do you remember? Just trying to think how that tied in.
Well, yeah. Well, with the pheasant being on the ground, that's where they like to be, but then something happens and they take off into the,
Right. So that's kind of like what you were mentioning, that sometimes we need to be made aware.
Yeah.
Like to shake us out of our comfort zone.
And to take flight. And if you think about it too, back to the theme of transmuting pain and suffering into joy, if you are dwelling in pain and suffering, and there's something to be said about feeling your feelings, experiencing grief, experiencing these emotions, you don't want to stuff those things down. You do want to feel them and process them so they can be released, right? But if you have these emotions that cause you pain and suffering, those, along with blocking joy, those also block abundance.
Mm-hmm.
and prosperity,
Mm-hmm.
because you're focused on darker, negative, denser energies and not light.
Yeah. All the
And
lack, right? All the
yeah,
lack.
you're focused on lack.
Mm-hmm.
You're focused on what you don't have
Mm-hmm.
instead of appreciating what you do have.
Mm-hmm.
And so the being able to leave your comfort zone, the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and release these things that are holding you back so that you can take flight, to make a metaphor, um, and reach the higher heights. And in the case of the bird, of course, that's for safety. But isn't this also for safety too? I mean, it's safer for us to be in the light.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthier for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're down in the pain and suffering, what are you doing but living in a swamp of cortisol and other stress hormones, and that's not good for you physically. All of these energies that we work to transmute, transform, release, and all this stuff, all that stuff is creates disruptions in your physical and energetic body, so that you can't have a sense of well-being, or you can't have a sense of peace, and it can cause physical
Mm-hmm.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who literally are sick simply because of stuffing down emotions. In traditional Chinese medicine, grief is stored in your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
How many people with asthma probably have stuffed down their emotions and have not truly experienced the grief in your life?
Mm-hmm.
And grief is about lots of things. It's about, of course, loved ones passing, but it can be about mourning anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessary, so.
Yeah, it could be like mourning, a time of life. You miss your 20s, your 30s, whatever.
Or opportunities, or things,
Yeah. Miss. Yeah. Yeah.
So and then also, if you stuff down your anger in traditional Chinese medicine, that's stored in your liver.
Mm-hmm.
So how many people with liver issues have not safely expressed the anger
Mm-hmm.
that they've experienced in their life?
Right.
So and of course, in body code, emotion code, whatever, all of these things are also correlated to organs and chakras and stuff. And so all of these things can disrupt so many aspects of your physical well-being, and which then, of course, is in your energetic body and your spiritual body as well. So yeah, I don't know if I kind of feel like I kind of woo of the thing.
I think that was perfect, because it was, it was a good message. And I think it's just, make people aware that, again, they need to ponder where they're at, and if they're stuck or appear to be stuck or feel like they're stuck, then there's ways out of being stuck.
Yeah. And also, just to think of the King of Pentacles idea is if you are, open to abundance and prosperity, and it's not about wanting it, it's about seeing where you already have that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even if you're poor and working all the time, it's harder. But then you can say, you can see okay, well, where am I appreciating this? The fact that you have a roof over your head or food on your table is a big thing. Appreciating that you have love of friends is a big thing. There's all kinds of abundance and prosperity. It's not just money.
Yeah.
Money's great, but there's other things as well. And the more you acknowledge and recognize that in your life, the more it opens you up to more kinds of.
The more you're resonating with it, right? You're resonating with the gratitude, and it'll find you.
Yeah, because where our attention goes, our energy flows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're always being blah, 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 down, be focused on the negative, that's where your energy is going to go. Nothing's ever going to get better.
Yeah.
But there's so many things to be grateful for. And there's so many gratitude practices out there that are really helpful for people.
Yeah.
My gratitude practice is just kind of being grateful for where I'm at right now. And things like, even just like when it's raining out, being grateful for the rain, when it's sunny out, being grateful for the sun. Still working on being grateful for when it's like over 90 degrees. But even that, I mean, has good things too, because then you're like, it makes me more grateful for when it's in the 70s.
There you go. There you go.
But like, there's all kinds of things to be grateful for, and that don't have anything to do about money. And like, the more you are open to that and focus on these good things, the more good things will come into your life. Yeah, good times, good times. So, how you feeling?
Complete? I think
Feeling pretty
we've kind of
we've covered it.
We've covered it today.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think we'd go this long.
Well, we kind of hit a few little tangents here and there, but I mean, I think they all kind of like zoom together, so I think it's all good.
I'm also grateful for my really cute t-shirt.
Check it out. What is it today?
Let's do it. Don't open. Do it.
Very cute. Very cute.
Love the kitty cat t-shirts and the kitty cat, real kitty cats. I'm also really grateful for my kitty cats, that they're still around after 17 and a half years.
Oh, so
I know. Poor Psyche. Oh, she's such a sweetie. Okay, so anyway, thank you. Are we going to do the thank you?
Happy 20th episode.
Happy 20th episode.
Thank you, all our beautiful subscribers, and thank you, all our beautiful audience members that tune in all the time and check us out and stay with us all the way through our gibber gabbers for the little jewels that happen here, there, and everywhere. So we appreciate each and every one of you.
Exactly.
So,
Yes, we thank you so much. And if you would please like and subscribe, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And
always
otherwise,
appreciate it.
Yes, we definitely appreciate it. And otherwise, you just have a really lovely, wonderful time and day and whatever until the next video. Yay!
Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, where's the stop button? Here it is.
Thanks for watching Kim and Angela talk. Please like and subscribe below. Click on the links below in the description to book sessions with Kim at keycranio.com and with Angela at treeoflighthealingarts.com.